that people can use afterwards and listen to afterwards in order to just learn. So it's more like a resource that we are building. And so usually we always start immediately, even if we have one person, because we know that we are building a resource as well. Um, Firstly, can everyone hear me? If you can please say hello on the chat, that you can hear me, and I'm audible. It would be nice to hear the voices of people on the call. Am I audible? Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Um, so thank you, everyone, and welcome to the Clarity Sessions. So the Clarity Sessions was born out of the desire to create a platform where young people who are currently within their space of doing something amazing or currently building something are able to have conversations to take us through their process of how they are building what they are building and the learnings and all of that. And we've run the sessions for the past 2 years now, and we're currently tweaking how to make the session a lot more effective to the audience and everything that we do. But today we're going to be talking about fashion and personal branding. So personal branding is something that we all hear. In my lifetime, I've never seen lots of personal branding quotes that I've seen in this time. Even like marketing agencies now, for example, offer personal branding conversations. But when I think about personal branding, for everyone that is in the marketing space, can think about there's this guy called Seth Godin. You can Google Seth Godin. Seth Godin wears a yellow glasses every time, and the moment you see someone with a yellow glass, you know it's Seth Godin as well. So why I brought that example is our fashion choices, how we choose to dress, shows. I mean, it's a reflection on our personal brand. Me, for example, one of the things that, I mean, I'm not really here or there, but one of the things that I would always do is to wear an Ankara pant at least most of the time, and a t-shirt with a jacket and sneakers. And in sort of way, people have kind of, and my trousers usually don't touch the ground, so it's always like very jumpy. So in sort of way, like if I go outside of that, I remember recently when I wore like a long trouser, people were like, what happened? Why are you wearing a long trouser? When I go outside of that, people kind of feel like that edge, that why is this person doing what is not used to be doing, and all of those kind of things. So our fashion choices are very indicative to how we build our personal brand. And there's no other person than Jumoke, Jumoke Shotonwa, who is on the call to run us through how we are perceived when it comes to fashion choices and personal brand. So I'm not running through the slides particularly as I've put them together because I think this would be a very interesting conversation and I don't want to take so much of the time. But Jumoke is someone that I know. It's a very interesting story. I used to work in an agency where we wanted to build out a Shutterstock like kind of project. And then the person that we found to work on the project as a fashion stylist then or fashion consultant then was Jumoke. And since then, we've kept in touch. And but Jumoke is an amazing, multi-influential woman. She's a PR professional and a visionary force behind Kwesi, which is a fashion styling company as well. She has graced major companies like Skechers and Dali Nigeria to leave an indelible mark on blockbuster movies like Chief Daddy, and MTV Sugar. Her journey is a testament to her innovative spirit, and she's been certified by the London College of Fashion and also a BSc from Awolowo University. Aside from what like Jumoke has shared to us as a profile, I think that one of the things that I kind of just get inspiration from is how she works hard and maybe dresses harder. And she's very passionate about how people look, particularly the kind of outfits you put on together. And me, maybe not necessary. There are two things in life that I see as a means to an end: dress, outfit, and food. Food is just a means to an end. Clothes is just a means to an end to cover your body. But for people like Jumoke, it's beyond that. It's something that it's an extension of who you are. And she spent a lot of her career trying to build that for ourselves and people that she worked with. So without wasting any of our time, let's put our hands together as we welcome Jumoke as she takes us through a session on fashion and personal branding.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for that warm introduction, Ifemi. Can you guys hear me? Just confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you, Bernice. Good evening once again, everyone, and thank you for joining this clarity session. A disclaimer though, I'm driving at the moment. I really had a long week. And I'm currently driving. I had an engagement on the mainland. I'm just on my way home to pick up my son from school. And I had to join in this session, right? I couldn't say I'm not available because Nifem is going to have my head. He had literally been chasing me down since last year, right? So, and I mean, Nifem is an amazing person. I don't want to disappoint him at all. So I'm like, I'm going to just join in, right? And speak as much as I can while I drive. So please pardon me. You hear sounds of car horns and hear me distracted a bit, but we're together. I got you. All right. Are we good? Can I hear a response?
Yes, we're good.
Yes, we are. Yes, we're good.
All right, awesome. That's the life of an entrepreneur, a mom, everything in between, right? So thank you everyone for joining in. I want to celebrate all of you and every single person who has joined in tonight or this evening. It shows that you're very passionate and particular about your growth, your development, and ensuring that you become the best person that you can be. So I want to celebrate every single one of you on the call. And of course, especially thank Nifemi for putting this together. One thing I like to say is how whatever I'm doing, I heard Nifemi say that initially, right? When he mentioned that even if it's one person, they're going to start. Because for me, I realized that whatever I do, even if it's one person that has impacted, it's something, right? That person can impact a whole generation, their own lives can be changed and it's worth it, right? So I want to say thank you to the team, the Mostly Inspired team for putting this together and ensuring that people get clarity, people are rightly positioned, and they just become better, right? So this evening, right, we're going to be talking about personal branding and fashion. I mean, I can talk about fashion from today till tomorrow, right? It's something that I really love, and I want people to always look good, like Nifemi rightly said. In today's session, we're talking about how you can rightly position yourself, position your brand, your personal brand, right? How you can have that right perception about yourself. Because people take this for granted, right? They feel like, oh, this is who I am. If they don't accept me like this, then that's it. Yeah, that's who you are, but you can actually grow and you can become better, right? You can be refined, you can be, you can be positioned for value and impact, right? Um, so it's a very, very important topic and a very important subject for everyone to actually be intentional about, right? Don't just say this is how I am, because yeah, it is how you are, but I realize that a lot of people want two things, right, in life, which is number one, they want to be able to at the end of their lives, make an impact, right? Number two, a lot of people also want money. Do you see? So for you to be able to make an impact, a genuine impact, right, and also make money like you want to, you need to pay attention to your personal brand. You need to pay attention to how you show up to the world. You need to pay attention to how you are perceived and how you are seen, right? I'm in PR right now, and how I stumbled into PR, it's a story for another day, right? I work with an agency, just like what Nifemi was saying, where he used to work. I now work with an agency, and perception is everything. Perception is everything. How you're perceived, right? People, it's one thing. I don't want to say it's everything, right? But it's a very major part of personal branding. How you are perceived, how you position yourself, how you put yourself out there is very, very critical and very important, right? So I'm going to just go straight into the intricacies of what we're trying to talk about today. But at the end of this session, there are two things you're going to leave here with. Number one, you're going to you're going to be able to understand sorry, I'm trying to make it turn. All right, so you're going to understand the importance okay, sorry. So we're going to talk about number one, the importance of your personal brand, right? How important it is for you to begin to pay attention to your personal brand, right? And number two, you also know how to make some fashion choices, how you can show up to the world without breaking the bank, right? Those are two things that you're going to learn from today's session. Please just give me 1 minute. I'll be back. All right. Thank you, everyone, for the patience. So I'm back, right? And I'm going to start with a few questions. I want everyone to please answer in the comment section of this Google Meet. So number one question I'll ask, right, is what would you rate your current understanding of personal branding? What would you rate your current understanding on a scale of 1 to 5? So everyone just put it there. Your current understanding of personal brand, how would you rate it from 1 to 5 on a scale of 1 to 5? So let me see your answers on the chat. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4. How would you rate your personal branding? Your knowledge of personal branding. Okay, 1. Okay. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Lola. I see that. What would you rate knowledge or understanding of personal branding? Okay, 1. Okay. Rating 1. All right. Second question would be, have you actively worked or developed your personal brand? Have you ever actively worked in your personal brand, or have you tried to develop your personal brand? Yes or no? Okay. No. Okay. Number 3, how important do you think personal branding is for your growth or for your success? Your personal growth or your career growth or your professional growth? How important do you think personal branding is? Frank says very important. Love it. How important? Very important. Well, not so important. Well, somewhat important. What do you think? Okay, it's important. Very important. Fantastic. Awesome. Okay. So I mean, from this question, I can see where we are. And I think I really love it. I think this class is going to actually be impactful for everyone on this call, because it seems as though, we've somewhat not really paid attention to our personal brand before. And I'm going to just delve into the basics, right? I'll just talk about the basics. I won't go into all the different things that I was going to talk about, right? Because I like to really speak to what the need of the people are per time. I'm not really want to just come talk. I want to really ensure that I get what people really want. I speak on what people really want, right? So let's talk about personal branding. What is personal branding? Personal branding is the process of branding yourself. So it's the process of positioning yourself to be perceived right. I'll say that again. Personal branding is the process of positioning yourself to be perceived right. Right? I like to say that personal branding is personal, right? It's personal. It's about you. I like what Bernice said when she said it's majorly been about things that she liked, right? So personal branding is personal. It's about you, right? And it's very important. And it also now delve into authenticity, right? Because there are two ways you can brand yourself or you can position yourself. It can either be an external way or an internal way, right? So you can position yourself based on your on external factors, things you have, things that you own, or you have a G wagon, or you live in the choicest place in Lagos, Banana Island, or you work in the biggest multinational, right? So you can position yourself on the externals, right? And I like to say, yeah, that's while that is not that's not the best. There's an internal factor, there's an internal way, and that means that what that means is it's from understanding who you are as a person, right? It's from knowing who you are from the inside out. Because at the end of the long term game, right, you're just trying to uh, artificial or not, right? Proper brand for yourself. And what is a brand? Brand is what you are known for, right? So, for example, when I say Apple, what's one thing you would say about Apple? I'm sure general thing people say is things like it's personal, it's very efficient, it's sleek, right? So it's so if you start yourself from the inside out, while it's nice to put yourself or put work, this is who I am, this is what I do. People do, which is a part of it, but I don't think that is long lasting. Remember what I said in the beginning, that people want two things in life. Basically, number one, make impact, and for you to make impact, you have to be authentic, right? You can't just make impact, in an inauthentic way, right? Number two would be to make money, right? And now, how do you make money? Right? When people begin to see your brand and how you position yourself and how authentic you are, right? They want to associate themselves with you, right? So you're going to be the go-to person, maybe for your business or for your career, things like that. So it's the approach, in approach. So that's personal. Now, your beyond your CV, it is who you are beyond all the surface, right? And that's where asking yourself critical questions coming. So guys, I apologize again. I just got my son's so you may hear some noise. I may go off in the next 1 minute, right? So just give me another 2 minutes, please. I crave indulgence. Thank you. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Nice to meet me. Can I see the emojis? Can I see emojis if you're still here? Awesome, 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 awesome. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, so like I was saying, I always recommend the inside out approach and not the outside in approach, because the outside in approach is very soft and artificial, right? And what it does, it brings people to you, and people are like, oh, I like what is that. But when they meet you in person, what do they see and what do they need? And that's where the inside out approach comes in, right? So when people meet you physically, who doesn't have a good sense of self, the one who is just fake and artificial, who do they meet, right? And that's where knowing who you are comes in. Now you need to ask yourself some questions. What are my strengths, right? That's the beginning, the starting point of building a personal brand. What is my strength? What makes me unique? What makes me stand out? What makes me different from other people? Right? Because if you don't know that, you're going to be like everybody. You're going to see, I heard if I'm talking about someone who wears yellow glasses, right? You're going to see everybody and want to like everybody. And that makes you inauthentic to like everybody, right? So to be a personal brand, remember I said it's personal. It's about you. What do you like? Who am I? Who are you? Who are you when nobody is there, right? What are your values? I like to say that everyone has a unique perspective to anything. So I have a unique perspective to parenting, for example. I have a unique perspective to motherhood, for example. I have a unique perspective to family, to career, to, I have a unique perspective to different things. And that's what makes me different. So you need to know what makes you different. Right? So what makes you different, right? You need to know that. What is that one thing? Sorry. All right. I really apologize, guys. Please bear with me as we go on. I hope you're enjoying it so far. I hope you're learning something so far. I hope you're picking one or two things so far. So ask yourself questions. What is my strength? What makes me me? What makes me different? Right? What's that one thing that I can do naturally? I can do stresslessly. Like I don't have to stress myself to do it, right? What's that thing that makes me different from next person? What is my uniqueness? One thing I learned when it comes to like knowing yourself and like embracing who you are, you need to start introducing yourself like how your best friend will introduce you, right? So for example, if I met Nifemi, for example, if I was going to introduce Nifemi, I wouldn't introduce Nifemi like how he will introduce himself. I'm sure he's going to be very humble and just say, "Oh, my name is Nifemi. I do this and that." But for me, I would introduce Nifemi as someone who is so amazing. He's patient, and all his amazing qualities. This is what he does. He's a very hard worker. That's how I'm going to introduce Nifemi, right? And that's how we must begin to introduce ourselves. We must begin to see what is unique about us, what makes us stand out, what makes us different. So what are those things? What are those elements? Right? What are those elements that make you different? Right? Number two would be have a clear vision. Right? I'm talking about the ways you can build a personal brand, right? What do you do when building a personal brand? Because like I said, everyone on this call actually right now needs to understand the basics, and the basics are what I'm talking about. So what do you need to do to build a personal brand? Number one, understand who you are, right? Know yourself. What makes you different? Number two, have a vision. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? What do you want to be known for? Right? What's that thing? Because that's how you're able to build a brand. That's how you can begin to position yourself as that thing in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, right? Do I want to be called out as one of the people who can talk about whatever industry that you want to be known for, right? What's the vision you have for your life? What's that one thing? And please, I want us to do this exercise, please. It will really help us, in gaining clarity on how we can begin to, build our personal brand, right? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go from here? Who do you want to be known for? Have a clear vision. For example, if I want to go to the UK at the moment, right? I will not go on a flight going to Dubai. That's that's confusion, right? And that's how people are. Because they don't have a clear vision for themselves. Today you see them, they are cutting their hair. Tomorrow they are dyeing their hair. Next tomorrow they are doing different things. Just doing different things as it pleases, them. Not because they are really strategic in knowing what they want for themselves. Just because what they are seeing everyone do, right? Right. So it's very important that we have a vision for our lives. Now, who do you want to become? I like to say, That don't just focus on the goals. So your goals can be, oh, I want to do XYZ. Yeah, you want to do XYZ, but when you're done with those XYZ, with those things, those goals that you set, those gigantic goals that you set, when you're done achieving those goals, who are you? Who do you become? Who do you become in that instance? Are you just doing things and just ticking off goals on your list, or you are actually, becoming a person that is solid, right? That has value, right? Don't just focus on the goals. Focus on who you want to become. And if you don't know who you want to become, you need to have some reflective moments, right? You need to have some introspective moments where you introspect, right? Where you introspect and just really think about it. And that's why I asked you to please write those questions down. It's very, very critical, right? Write those questions down and ask yourself, who do you want to be known for? When people, call my name, what would they say? For example, today, when people call Jumoke Shotowa, one thing that will stand out will be she's very passionate for people looking good, like Nifemi said. Because I've said it, I've spoken about it, I've positioned myself as that. So who do you want to be? Now, I'm still talking about having a vision. Be clear and be real with yourself about where you currently are and what you currently want. Take stock of your life. Make sure you're really appropriately assessing yourself. What are your strengths, like I've said before, right? What are the words you want to be described about you? People should say, when they call me, for example, if people call my name, you hear things like hardworking, you hear things like visionary, you hear things like resilient, you hear things like tenacious. That's who I am, right? And people know that about me. So what are those things that you really want people to, what are those values you want people to say about you, right? Are you real? Are you valuable? Are you resourceful? What are those words? Write it down. Write it down. As you do that, it will also now begin to inform how you can authentically show it up in the world. I want people to see me as a loving person. What does that mean? So when I'm around people, I have to be loving. Remember what I said? It's a process, right, of building a personal brand, right? Now, number 3 will then be, you need to begin to invest in yourself. So I've spoken about number 1, understand who you are, which is your vision, which is your strength, what makes you unique, right? What are your beliefs? You have a unique perspective to different things. So what are those unique perspectives? Start giving voice to those unique perspectives, right? Number 2, have a vision. Number 3, you need to begin to invest in yourself, right? How do you invest in yourself? Read books, have a routine, because energy goes where attention flows, right? Energy flows where attention goes. I'll say that again. Energy flows where attention goes. So, for example, that's why if you want to get a G-Wagon, right? If you're not thinking about G-Wagon, I'm sure you must have passed a lot of G-Wagon in 1 month, but you may not really notice. But by the time you start thinking about a G-Wagon, you begin to notice the number of G-Wagon that passes a route every single time. And that's because energy is flowing in that direction, right? So because attention, is going in that direction. So energy flows where attention goes. So you need to begin to invest in yourself. What is that thing I need to start doing about myself? Is it the way I talk? Is it the way I make decisions? Is it my decision-making abilities, right? You need to begin to have a routine. Read books. Get inspired. If you're the type that gets inspired, maybe you listen to an inspirational video or something, right? Who are your role models? Who already look like who you want to become, right? I'm sure there are people. That's also another strategy. I'm not going to go there tonight. There's no time for that. There's another strategy to build your personal brand. There are people you can identify that also look like where you want to be, and you can begin to now imitate them. What does that mean? It means, so you see somebody and you're like, okay, do some study on that person. So what kind of places do this person go to? What kind of books do this person read? Right? Who are the kind of people they hang out with? How do they show up? How do they look? I think you can begin to study those people that look like who you want to become, and then start imitating it. That's another way to begin to invest in yourself, right? Observe them, study their lives. How do they talk? What activities do they do? Right? What ticks them? Those are the things you can begin to do, right? Another way to begin to invest in yourself is by how you show up with your outfit. How you show up with your outfit. That's a very major point. And I like that we're talking about fashion and personal branding. There's no way we're talking about personal branding, we'll talk about fashion. There is no way. Even if it's a t-shirt and jeans, that's still fashion. That's still a way you're showing up, right? It's very, very important. You don't just wake up every morning and just jump into anything because that's how you feel. You need to be intentional about how you're building your personal brand, how you're going to be perceived, right? Because I'm sure some of you may be people of faith here. It's only God that sees the heart. Most people see the outward appearance, and that's what they see first. So by the time they see you first, that's what already gives you in or takes you out, right? So sometimes by the time you show up, you're already disadvantaged, right? Because you're not paying attention to how you show up. So are you wearing rumpled clothes? Sometimes you can just say, nobody's going to know, nobody's going to know. Who's gonna know? Who's gonna know? Nobody's gonna know, right? Sometimes if you know and if you see it, somebody else will see it and somebody else will know, right? Right? So you need to pay attention to that. Sometimes you wear something that is torn somewhere, and I'm sure some of us have seen that before, where you wear something that is torn somewhere and then you're like, it's not really obvious. If you can't, I have a rule. If I can see it, somebody can see it, somebody else will see it. I'd rather not wear it out. Those are things that we do to be able to invest in ourselves, right? Don't be lazy, be competent. If you're a career professional at your place of work, do you want to be seen as a competent person? Do you want to be seen as someone who knows their job? Begin to invest in yourself, right? Number 4, let me move quickly. Deliberately communicate. This is a very, very important part of personal branding, right? Deliberately communicate. You can be an amazing person. A lot of people are really amazing. I mean, we're all amazing in our ways, but nobody knows. You're the only one that knows how amazing you are because you're not communicating. There are different channels you can communicate your value. There are different ways you can begin to put yourself out there in the world. If there's no communication, you'll be cut from the world. You'll be cut off from the world, right? People think that you're communicating, but you're actually being cut off. You're just in a bubble, right? You're not communicating how amazing you are. Remember I said you have unique perspective to things. So those unique perspectives you have, begin to communicate it. That's how you begin to position yourself as a brand, right? Share your message to the world, either formally or casually. Choose a platform, right? You can choose maybe the 2 platforms that you can go with depending on the kind of messaging you want to put out there, right? Depending on the kind of brand you want to build, right? So there's a lot of channels you can put your messaging on, right? So there's Instagram, there is LinkedIn, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, there's Twitter, right? Whatever it is, there are blogs. You can begin to write a blog, right? There are newsletters, right? There are different ways that you can begin to put yourself out there and communicate your values. And I like to say you can start with 2, right? You can start with a long form and a short form. And long form, there are different ways. Newsletters are long form. YouTube are long form. LinkedIn can be long form. Short form, maybe a video reel on Instagram or TikTok. Choose a long form and a short form, right? What are the 2 ways I want to begin to communicate my value or communicate how amazing I am, right? It's very, very critical. It's a very critical part of building a brand, because right now, if I ask you the biggest artist in Lagos or in Nigeria, I'm sure you're going to actually say a few, and that's because those people that you're calling have steadily communicated who they are. Right, they can be someone who's as good, equally as good as they are, but they are nowhere to be found. We don't know them. We've not heard their voice before, right? So it's a very critical part of positioning yourself. I know there are questions around this. People say, "Oh, I'm an introvert. I'm not really big on social media. How do I do it?" What I like to say is, you just need to do it. Find a system that works for you. You don't need to do it every single day, right? Right? But find a system, because you must communicate. You must communicate. Even if you get someone that will do it for you, you must, because at the end of the day, you want to be seen in the right way. You want to make impact in the world, right? You want people. I mean, today, if Beyonce comes to say she wants to sell a perfume, for example, in 24 in 4 hours she's going to probably sell out, right? Because she's built a brand and other things. She can leverage that brand to get other things, and that's where the money comes from. That's what I'm talking about. People want to associate themselves with you because of the brand that you build, and you must authentically do that. Beyonce doesn't put a caption at the moment. I'm using those people because those are people that I'm sure we can readily relate to, right? We can readily just identify. Beyonce posts on Instagram, but she doesn't put a caption, and you see 4,000 comments, 15,000 comments, right? But that's authentic to her. If somebody else does that, maybe like a Funke Akindele, for example, if Funke Akindele posts a picture without any caption, she may not probably have traction. So you need to know who you are. That's where all these things come in, and know how you want to position yourself, to be. And you must find the channel to communicate it. Find a channel to communicate it. I'm rounding off. The number 5 would be consistent. Whatever you do, whatever you are saying, be consistent. Be consistent. Personal branding is built from how you do what you do, and how you do what you do and what you do. 2 things. Let me say that again. Your personal branding is built from 2 things. Number 1, how you do what you do and what you do. So what you do and how you do what you do is a very major part in building a personal brand. So for example, let's be practical. You're a career professional and you have a task. How you do that task and what task you're doing says a lot about you. So those are the little things we need to begin to pay attention to, right? You're a business professional, right? You're a business person, right? And you probably have clients, and how you handle that client says a lot about you, and the impression they have from how you do what you do informs your personal brand, right? So it's very, very critical. So be consistent. Be consistent. I know it's going to take you, little steps to get there, but you must start, right? You need to begin to show up and build your brand, and you must show up the same way consistently. If I meet you today and you say that you are a joy giver, for example, you want to be able to light up rooms and you want to be able to give joy to people. When I meet you today, I should see the same thing when I meet you next year, right? That's a consistent brand. But if today you are giving joy, tomorrow you are giving sadness, and I'm confused. I'm wondering, where do I place this person, right? So it's very, very critical that you are consistent. When people meet you in person, right, it must be aligned with what you're putting out online. That's where consistency comes in, right? You're offline putting out one thing, putting out your perspective, putting out your thoughts on things. And when people now meet you in person, they're trying to wonder, is this the same person I know online? Right? So you must be consistent. Be consistent in how you're putting yourself out there, right? And let me tell you, the key strategy or the key factor in building a personal brand, please write this down somewhere boldly. The key factor in building a personal brand is in clearly communicating your values. I'll say that again. The key in building a personal brand is in clearly communicating your value, right? And what does that mean? It means everything I've said. You have to be intentional about it. How do you communicate your values verbally and non-verbally? How do you do what you do? That's the key in building a personal brand, right? So whatever you're doing, are you communicating it clearly? You must be clear about your value. You must be clear about you as a person. And it also boils down to emotional mastery, because people are emotional beings. And one of the things in personal branding is that people have to like you, and that's the truth. That's the truth. You may not agree with it, but people need to like you. There must be an emotional mastery. How you're able to connect with people's emotions, right? And how do you do that? By how you build your character, right? Those are the ways you're able to connect with people emotionally, right? So that's the key strategy in building your personal brand. You have to be very intentional. You need to know who you are. You need to know what your values are. You need to know what sets you apart. You need to know, what you want to communicate. You must be consistent. You must be a person of value. When you say one thing online, when I meet you, I need to see the same energy, right? And that's how you're able to build a personal brand for yourself. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions before I go on, right? It would be number one, I want you to write it down. Maybe in your personal time, when you have time, please just answer this question genuinely, by yourself. Number one, it will be, what are my 3 deepest values? Right? What are my 3 deepest values? What are the three values I really hold high that are non-negotiable? Right? These values are what would actually mark my life. Right? What are those 3 things? Number 2, identify your top 3 strengths. Right? Because I mean, it may sound like, well, people know their strength. To be honest, people don't know their strength. Some people don't know their strength. Right? They look at other people more than they look at themselves. So you need to look inward, right? What are my 3 top strengths? And one way to know that, if you're not sure, is to ask your closest friends around you, right? If you have close friends, ask them, what are your 3, what are your strengths? Number 2, it could be by identifying the things people compliment about you the most, right? So what are those things people compliment about you the most? Sorry, give me a second. Right? So are you what's that thing people say about you the most? Right? Those are ways you can find out your 3 top strengths, right? Number 3, which is very, very important, the third question I'll ask is, look at the last 5 years of your life, right? What would you do differently if given a chance to relive the last 5 years of your life? Where would you be today? So I'll say that again. Look at the last 5 years of your life. What would you do differently if you're given a chance to relive it? So what does that mean? Now that you've heard about personal branding, right? And you've heard about how you can position yourself and begin to communicate your values, right? If you look at your life in the last 5 years, what would you do differently to relive that in order to set yourself in the right course, right? Answer those questions, please. It's very important that we answer those questions to be able to set ourselves in the right direction for personal branding, right? So I'm going to go into, if there are any questions, please put them in the comment section. I would take them. We're going to go into the fashion part of personal branding. I already mentioned some things earlier, and I will start by saying style is personal. The same way personal branding is personal, you have a style. Everyone has a style, right? I'm a stylist and I like to work with everyone's individual style. You have a style. What does that mean? It means you have a way you like to dress up. You have what suits you. You like what you wear and that makes you feel comfortable. Everyone has a style. Style is personal, right? It's personal to you. So whatever may look good on you may not look good on me, right? And what do I mean by that? I mean, you have a body type. What does that mean? It means there's a way you look, right? Your shape, your figure. You have a personality, right? You have a lifestyle. You have taste, right? So those things are things that are peculiar to different people. Your personality and mine may be the same, but your lifestyle and mine may not be the same. So that's why I'm saying that your style is personal. It's personal to you, right? It's personal to you. It reflects your unique personality. It reflects your unique preferences. It's about you, and that's the same way personal branding is about you. So you can use style as a tool to stand out, right? And you must begin to pay attention to it. And how do you do that? Number one, define your body type. So what's your body type? And what do I mean by that? What is your shape or your figure? Right? There are different body types. I can't go into all of that today. Maybe you can Google it. As a man, you have, there are different body types for men. As a woman, there are different body types for women. And there are different outfits that suit different body types. Remember what I mentioned about saying, oh, this is how I am. This is how you are, but that's not how you can be. You can be better than how you think you are, right? So identify your body type and identify the things that look good for that body type, right? And begin to invest in it. Begin to, probably build your wardrobe, with those things that look good on you. What are those things that you wear that make you feel good? I'm sure there are times where you look good. I like to say that, looking good makes you feel confident. And that's absolutely true. Absolutely true, right? So when you look good, there's a way you can feel confident. I remember when we're growing up during Christmas, I don't know if anyone remembers when our parents buy us like all those really nice outfits. You want to go to all around the neighborhood, right? We want everyone to see our outfit. You're feeling good, and like today, you must show the world how you look. That's what happens when you look good, right? Has anyone ever felt that before? Let me see your emoji if you've been there before, where you're like, I look good, and the whole world must see me. You must take picture, do video. You go and visit a friend. You go to the mall. You just want to go everywhere because you're looking good, and you feel good about yourself. Has anyone ever felt like that before? I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one that has that has happened to before, right? So, and that's what happens when you dress for your body, right? You wear your clothes don't wear you, right? You should wear the clothes. And when you wear the clothes, it has a different meaning because it's you, right? Two people can wear the same outfit, but it will carry different significance because they are two different people, right? So when you wear clothes, you should wear the clothes, not the clothes wearing you. Do you get what I mean? So what that means is your personality should shine through. Who you really are should shine through, right? To identify your body type. Then you now need to know what works for your body, right? So what aesthetics, and how do you know what aesthetics you like? I'll give you a simple tip. I don't know if everyone here knows Pinterest or know how to use Pinterest. Maybe Google or whatever, maybe Instagram. So you can be on Pinterest, for example, and you can just scroll through. Maybe you can just type maybe outfits for a creative. So if somebody here is a creative, for example, right, and you just go online on Pinterest and you can say outfits for female creatives, right, and then different things pop up on Pinterest, right. Once you see the things that pop up, there are things that as you're looking through you like, right? Once you see those things, just begin to save them. Don't worry, don't be, but just save them. If you see something that you like, you're like, oh, I like this, save it, save it, save it, save it, keep saving it. Once you're done, go to the things you've saved and look through. Once you're looking through, begin to identify the things that are common with everything you've saved, right? So that's how you begin to pick your aesthetics. So you can look through and say, most of the things that I saved where maybe for ladies it could be floral patterns, right? Or it could be ruffles, or it could be pleats, or it could be bold earrings, or it could be afro hair. For guys, it could be maybe jackets, it could be suits, it could be colors, right? So once you look through, you can just see what stands out amongst everything you've highlighted. That's how you can begin to identify your style aesthetics, right? That's a tip. I'm sure somebody learned that. Then okay, that kind of things that I like, right? And when you know those things, you can begin to now get them based on your body type, right? So it could be palazzo pants, or it could be skirts, whatever it is, right? Then you begin to build a wardrobe around that. Begin to develop a signature look. Is it Mac? No, it was Apple, founder of Apple. I don't remember his name now. What's his name? It just skipped my head. He wears a black t-shirt and blue jeans. That is his own signature look, and that is okay because Steve Jobs, thank you, Steve Jobs, right? And that is his own signature look, and that's okay. That's who he is. That's his personality. That's what he's trying to build for himself. That's the brand he's trying to be. When you see him in a black t-shirt and jeans. It's very casual. He's a tech bro. They're very laid back and stuff. That's his own brand, and that's okay. That's why I mentioned, what do you want for yourself in the beginning? Part of the things you must answer for yourself. What do you want? What do you want to be known for? Right? So you need to begin to develop your own signature look. For me, for example, I wear a lot of blazers because I have this bold archetype, right? I'm bold, I'm fair, I'm daring, and I'm like a boss babe, and I wear lots of jackets, blazers, pantsuits, right? Structured outfits. That's because that's who I am. So you can begin to develop your own signature look. It's not wrong to have a uniform in that sense. Just see something that when people see you, oh, this looks like you, oh, this reminds me of you, oh, this is this person, right? When you step into a room, you step into the room as yourself, right? You're not stepping into a room like looking like different people every single time, right? So you begin to develop your signature look. I've said, how do you define your style? Number one, know that style is personal. is unique to you, right? I've said number 2, you now need to begin to identify your body type, right? Number 3, you now need to know what your style aesthetics are, and I've taught you how you can get that, right? Number 4 would be you then need to build your own signature look, right? Number 5 would be accessorize, right? So accessories usually they are very how will I put it now? I don't say they could be basic, but they uplift the look. They are not expensive. They are not so expensive. I don't want to say they're not. There are some very expensive accessories, right? They are not so expensive, but they can elevate your look, right? For example, you're wearing a t-shirt and a jeans, for example. That's very basic, but by the time you put a scarf on your neck, it elevates your look from 0 to 100. That's what I mean by accessorizing, right? You can wear a t-shirt, a jeans, but by the time you put a crossbody bag and wear a really nice, big sunglasses and a scarf, you're looking really stylish, right? So accessorizing is very critical when it comes to defining and building your style. It's very, very important. Please pay attention to how you look, right? Perception matters. Number 7, I believe, would be you have to show up confidently, right? Be confident. Once you look good, you identify your aesthetics, be confident. Show up confident to the world, right? Because it's very, very important. Then the last thing will be get a personal stylist to help you. And that's where I come in, right? So you can get me to help you. How do we can go into have a consultation and do an analysis, and we can then identify what your personal style is, and we can begin to build from there, right? Now, lastly, will be how to slay on the budget. There are ways you can slay, you can look good on the budget without breaking the bank. I know I probably have exceeded my time. I'm just going to run this through. Number 1, groom yourself, which is cut your hair, ensure your nails are done, your nails are not dirty. That's what I mean by grooming yourself. Cut your beard, always look neat and sharp. I mean, it doesn't cost too much to do that, right? Even if you're not making your nails, you're not doing artificial nails like women. Just ensure that your nails are clean, right? Your hair is cut, your hair is made. The all back under that wig that you wear is fine. It's not rough. You know what I mean? Inside gist. I'm sure only the ladies can understand that, right? So just groom yourself, right? And you're going to appear looking sharp. Number 2, wear solid colors. Solid colors over patterns or prints. Now, patterns or prints are nice, but you can wear them only if you really understand how to get excellent, exquisite looking prints. I heard when Nifemi mentioned that he wears is it Ankara pants or Adire pants? I don't think I remember. But printed pants, right? Now you can wear print pants, and there's some kind of print you wear that make you look like one guy from Ibadan, Gbomosho, right? Ankara pants, right? That kind of Ankara you wear that you look like you're in Ogbomosho, you're from Shaki, right? But there's some kind of print you wear that make you look like, this is by Nigerian, right? You're looking like you're a Nigerian in diaspora and things like that. It looks very expensive. So you need to be able to know how to pick a print. So what I like to advise is start with solids. I mean, when you wear solids, you can't go wrong with solids, right? What I mean by solids are single colors, right? So orange, white, purple, yellow, those are single colors. Red, blue, those are solid colors, right? And if you don't know how to get prints, because some prints can make you look cheap. That was what I was trying to explain by the example I gave Nifemi, right? So some prints can make you look cheap, and some can make you look expensive, right? And if you don't know how to differentiate that, you may get it wrong, right? So I always advise start with solid colors or stick to solid colors, right? Number 3, fit is everything. Fit is everything, right? Fit is everything. You can be wearing something very affordable. I don't say cheap, right? But it looks good on you, right? And people think, oh, this looks like it's gonna be worth $1,000, right? But you can wear something very expensive, but it doesn't look great on you, and people think that it's not worth anything. So fit is very important. How your outfits look on you is very, very important. And you can get a tailor around that can help you adjust your outfit if you need to, and all of that, right? So fit is very, very important. Number 4, I think I mentioned that, earlier on the in passing, which is no dirty clothes, no torn clothes, no rumpled clothes, right? I mean, when you show up like that, it says a lot about you, right? And remember what I said, everything you do and how you do that is a very critical part of building a personal brand, right? It's what people will say about you and how people, identify with you. Lastly, would be shop timeless pieces, right? Get pieces that can last tests of time. Don't be all about the trends. Remember, I said style is personal, right? So don't be quick to just jump on trends and everything you own, is trends. Trends come and go, but style lasts forever, right? So what do I mean by that? Trends are things that are in vogue, right? And for example, your body type is an apple body type. You're wearing something that suits only a rectangular body type because it's trendy, right? It says a lot about you, right? It says a lot about your ideology. It says a lot about your values. So you need to get timeless pieces, right? Things that would last test of time. Things that by the time you wear it this year in 2024, by the time I see it in 2026, I'm not thinking that was a 2024 piece. It looks like it's a 2026 piece. You see what I mean? So invest in timeless pieces in your wardrobe. And as you do all of this, right? You're going to begin to look back from now and see that you made the right decision in starting to build your personal brand, right? So I'm really rooting for every single person, on this call. I really want to celebrate you all. There will never be a perfect time to start building up your brand. There will never be a perfect time to start showing up, as your best self to the world than now, right? So if you're gonna ask me when do I start building a personal brand, I would say start now. Start now. Start now, right? Because you're going to look back 5 years, like I asked you earlier, and you're going to wish you started today, right? So today is a very perfect time to start building your personal brand. It's time to go, 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 go. I'm really waiting for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening in. I hope you learned one or two things from this session, and I hope you're going to begin to practice them. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nifemi.
Thank you so much. That was a full masterclass in 1 hour. Well, thank you so much, Jumoke, for sharing. Thank you so much thank you to everyone that took out the time to listen. So right now we would go around to ask if there are any questions or anything you'd like to ask Jumoke before we wrap up the call. Any questions? Yes, Lolade.
Okay, I wanted to ask, if is it fine if like I want to explore different styles? That's my question.
Oh, it's not wrong for you to explore different styles. Remember what I said about, trying to understand yourself, and I think that's a starting point in understanding yourself, right? But I would say start safe, right, and have an intention and goal in mind, right? You're not exploring different styles for like 1 year. You see what I mean, right? So have a time frame, maybe in 3 months, right? I want to explore XYZ, and I want to decide what works for me and then stick with it, right? It's time is of the essence, right, in being a personal brand. So you don't want to spend 1 year, 2 years trying to explore different styles and trying to decide what works for you, right? You can do that in the beginning phase. It's very, 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 very advisable. I mean, once you do that, decide what works for you and go for it. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Ikechukwu, you have your hands raised.
Okay, my question is, my personal brand, does it have to be one thing, or like can it have that um that kind of uniqueness, but like it will still have some attributes of change, not like as if it's just one thing forever.
Oh, absolutely. Right. So a personal branding, right? It's about your core. It's about the core of who you are. Now you are the person, you are multifaceted, right? So you do different things. You have, maybe, I don't know if you're married, so but a typical, let me just use a typical person, for example, right? Could be married, has a career, maybe has a business as well, maybe has a community, for example, that they're doing, that you're running and stuff, right? So you're multifaceted, right? However, in communicating your personal brand, it's not really about what you do is there, but it's not really about what you do. It's about who you are, right? It's about who you are, not what you do. What you do is an offshoot of who you are as a person. So in communicating your personal brand, there is the core of you, right? There's a core of you, right? That's one thing to note. Now, in terms of now communicating the different things that you do, of course, that's what makes you unique. For example, I like to say I'm a multi-influential woman, right? I am multifaceted, I'm multidimensional. I'm not one thing, right? And I can communicate those different things. And those different things is what make me, what makes me, and what makes people know that, okay, this is who this person is. There are people who have just maybe one thing to talk about. It could be just career, right? And that's fine. But what I would advise you, Ikechukwu, I think, is to find at least one or two things to start communicating, right? Don't spread yourself too thin. Because if you think of anybody right now, if I say Richard Branson, I'm sure there's something you know about him. There's one thing you can see about Richard Branson. If I say Steve Jobs, there's one thing you can say about. If I say Oprah Winfrey, there's one thing you can say about Oprah Winfrey. One major thing, right? So I would advise that start with one or two things to communicate about yourself, and then as you grow and you begin to build your personal brand, right? You can then diversify into other things. Do you see what I mean? So Oprah Winfrey right now, what she's doing, I'm sure Oprah Winfrey is a philanthropist, she's a media, she does different things, right? But if you talk about Oprah Winfrey, one major thing you talk about and say is that she's in media, right? So you need to have one thing that about.
Yes, that's very clear. Thank you, Jumoke.
Thank you, everyone. Does anyone have any question again? Or anything you'd like to get clarification on? Okay, so if there are none, I would like to say thank you so much to Jumoke for taking out the time to share with everyone. Like I said, this was such a very impactful session, and I hope that everyone that was on the call as well found it very impactful. So I'll just run us through a few things about the company and what we do, and then we'll call it a wrap. So we have the sessions every month, every last Friday of the month. And like I said, we've been doing it for a couple of years now. And so please, everyone should please try to engage our page. And so if you want to connect with Jumoke, these are some of the socials that Jumoke.Shotonwa. I'm sorry, there's no N before the T. Kwasi official, and this link, and you can find out on LinkedIn as well. So like I said, we also always have like replay sessions, and so we put those sessions on YouTube where you can watch, and we've put all of our different sessions that we've created on YouTube for people to watch and just get inspired by the different activities, basically. To wrap up, we'll just encourage everyone to please, if there's something that you picked up from this session, write about it on Instagram and just tag us so that people can see that this has been beneficial to everyone on the call. And if you check our website or our Instagram page, you see that we also have a couple of products that we've created to help people live their best life and just do things a lot better. So thank you again, everyone, for joining the call. Thank you for taking out the time. And thank